When I was a small child, I remember going to a video store and seeing a VHS copy of the movie Fright Night on the shelf, and I was immediately captivated by the movie's poster. The picture of the vampire face in the night sky really drew me in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my introduction into Fright Night. Released in 1985, it tells the story of teenager Charlie Brewster, a lover of classic horror movies, whom, after spotting some odd happenings from his bedroom window, believes that his new next-door neighbour, Jerry, is a vampire. And of course, Charlie's friends, Amy and Evil Ed, don't believe him. And after Charlie tries to expose Jerry, the smooth, slick, frightful vampire threatens to kill Charlie. Charlie manages to get help from Peter Vincent, a movie actor who starred in old Hammer Horror-esque vampire movies, whom knows all about how to kill vampires. Both Charlie and Peter must go next door and confront the menacing vampire on the Fright Night they'll never forget. Number 10. The Boy Who Cried Wolf. We all know the legend about the boy who cried wolf, in which a young boy keeps telling tales of atrocities that happen which aren't true. But when something bad finally does happen, no one believes him on the account of his bad habits of telling lies. Well, Fright Night director Tom Holland also wrote the script for Fright Night, and he wanted to base it on the notion of the boy who cried wolf, as he thought it would be an interesting and fun take on an old legend, giving it a more horrific, ghoulish approach. Biggest difference is Charlie doesn't tell lies, but has an extreme love for old horror movies, which leads people to believe his imagination gets the better of him, and that his paranoia is the result of his love of the horror genre.
Yes, Charlie. You've already caused your friends quite enough pain.
The whole time while writing it, and admits he loved the idea of a horror movie fan being convinced that his neighbour is in fact a vampire. So if anyone wanted to get any insights into the making of the movie, they wouldn't have been able to via the DVD, that's for sure.
I don't understand you. First you want to make love and then you don't.
Called Icons of Fright. I really like this idea. It's kind of sticking it to those behind the DVD release, who underestimated Fright Night and just assumed that no one would be interested in any other materials related to the movie. Despite the fact that the commentaries weren't official products of the Fright Night brand, they were eventually added to the Blu-ray release of the movie. Number 8. William Ragsdale auditioned for another 80s classic before he got the role of Charlie. In Fright Night, William Ragsdale plays the paranoid teenager Charlie Brewster, who is the main protagonist. In order for the movie to work, the audience has to be able to relate to his shock and terror of learning that his neighbour is a vampire and is out to get him, along with the added horror that no one believes him.
If he's not a vampire, have him touch this.
Oh, Charlie.
And thus putting his fear of his strange neighbour down to his love of old horror movies. And Ragsdale plays the part perfectly. However, shortly before he landed the role of Charlie, and she sent him to the audition by accident.
You really believe me, you poor dope.
Number 7. Chris. Well, back in the early production of Fright Night, Sarandon wasn't quite a big star yet. And when approached about taking on the role, he was a little apprehensive about it. To put it bluntly, he didn't want to do it.
Fool.
He hated the idea of playing a vampire, he hated the idea of starring in a horror movie, and he didn't really want to work with a first-time director. However, he quickly changed his mind when he read the script. And indeed, the captivating script won him over instantly, making him want to take part in the project. And adding to that, Sarandon also added some of his own ideas into the character, by making him part fruit bat, which is why we often see the character munching away on fruit. Was originally going to be the library ghost in Ghostbusters, was recycled and used as the giant vampire bat seen at the end of Fright Night, when Charlie and Peter Vincent have a final showdown with Jerry. The bat monster was rejected from Ghostbusters on the account it was believed to be too scary for that movie. And I'm not surprised on the account that this thing looks like an evil winged demon. However, it works perfectly here in Fright Night. Number 5. The origin of